No, I'm Will. I'm the baldbookgeek. Please like and subscribe, and let's have a discussion, shall we? Recent stuff that has happened has brought up an old issue that I think booktubers suffered from years. Diversity. Be it black booktubers, be it male booktubers, be it whatever. The lack of. And this is the thing. There isn't a lack of them. There are actually loads in that sense, but none of them get that much attention. I can only think of one big male booktuber. I can only think of one big black booktuber, and I can't think off the top of my head of any well-known black male booktubers. So I decided to do some ghosting. I set up a few online accounts on Reddit and on other sites under a pseudonym. So I've been accused of doing that before, so I thought I might as well do it this time. So I wanted to go into the guts of what is booktube and what viewers are saying. And it was a very eye-opening experience. So first things first. When I looked at discussions and got involved in discussions about people wanting to start booktube channels, it was interesting to read what people had to say. So a lot of the comments were along the lines of, I love to, but booktube is all this, or it's all that, or it's very toxic, or this or that. It was just a fascinating deep dive into the minds of the viewer. Because when you start making videos, you do tend to lose touch with the viewer side of it. Because I actually watch less booktube than I've ever done. And there was also a tweet that is now deleted by quite a well-known big female booktuber that icked me. I won't name names, because I think that would be a little bit classless. This person put a tweet going, why the hell do men bother with booktube? It's not for men, it's for us. And then it went on into like a thing of like, really, booktube should be all female. And by the way, I think it's amazing to have a space where young people can read, both male and female. And I think that's very needed because reading rates of teenagers is actually quite low, which is a shame. I think just going back to the deep diving that I did into these forums and Reddits and Gossip Gurus and Pretty Little Liars and all of these horrendously even Tumblr, even these really horrifically toxic places, you know, it's like the cesspit, the internet. I think a lot of people, the reason there aren't a lot of men on booktube is they're put off by what they see. The big thing is, you put booktube into YouTube and you get young people talking about YA, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, men and women do read differently. I think that's someone who has a myriad of friends. I'm just looking at my friend pool and how different the reading is between them. I think, from my own personal experience, I think that's off-putting to a lot of people. And then other people who don't there's a lot of people that really hate booktube, by the way. They're really considering it the worst of the worst for literature. But this is also the thing. I think the bigger issue is viewership. The reason booktube is not diverse in its public face, I'm not talking small channels, I'm not talking the little ones like me and like other people who just make content that's never going to get 5 billion views a video. I mean, I'm lucky to get a few hundred. The reason it isn't is the viewership. People want to view, especially young people, want aspirational content. They want to look at people and think, I can be that person. And most of the booktubers that are well known are white, middle-class, young women. There's only a handful of well-known booktubers that are outside of that bracket, and also that doesn't equal success as either. There are fantastic channels that are kind of the stereotype that never get much love either, and I found those, and I've met some really cool people through them. Even if we read completely different books, booktube has a lot of issues. Part of it lies with the booktuber, and part of it lies with the viewership. It's very much 50-50. I think there's a lot of pressure on people to fit a certain mould when they become booktubers. Especially if they want to be in the big leagues. There is that pressure. You have to do this, you have to look this way, you have to do that. And it just becomes one big floopy mess. And it frustrates me because I did a parody, actually. I did a parody video of how to booktube a parody. And I actually made the joke going, don't have a penis. How to be successful on booktube, don't have a penis. And that's quite true. And sadly, we've seen that many times. Booktube can be an echo chamber where, and I've said this before in other videos, where anything negative or different is either not seen at all or seen for attention. And that in itself is not healthy. When I tell people I make booktube videos, they immediately think of the big female booktubers, the big three. And why that's fine, I don't think they represent what booktube is. I think booktube is far more diverse, but I do see why so many people give up. I do see why people just call it quits. I do see why people... I've talked to many people who attempted it and just never got anywhere, and that's also partly YouTube, because the algorithm is broken as hell. YouTube is drunk most of the time. But if you don't fit a cookie cutter mould, it's very difficult to be successful. And I find that bizarre. I genuinely find that bizarre. As a gay man, I've always kind of sat on the outside a little bit. Never quite fitted in. And I still feel like that on booktube. I don't feel like I fit in here, but I enjoy making videos. Although I don't really class myself as a booktuber, I'm a video essayer who makes bookish content. I think the issue with booktube runs very deep, and I don't know if we will ever fix it. I don't think there is an easy fix. But I do think sometimes booktube needs to look at itself, and sometimes just needs to take a step back. Booktube is meant to be fun, it's meant to be interactive, and actually I have my second channel, baldbookgeek, link in the doobly-doo by the way, plugging. I got a really warm, lovely welcome on that channel. I started that channel, and the amount of people just commenting and giving me shout outs within the first week, I was like, really? But I described that channel as a bit of a man cave. Where this channel, booktube especially, I didn't get that welcome. I didn't get like an amazing welcome, and a lot of people say the same thing. I did videos that got like 2 views that are no longer visible. It just happens that way, I suppose. I think booktube has to look into itself. I think the fact that booktube is very clicky, it's very difficult if you're not a cookie cutter, cutout of everyone else, because basically booktube for a lot of people is an echo chamber, which is sadly, especially amongst the big booktubers, sad. And the divide between the bigger and the smaller booktubers is growing every day. And it's sad, really. I would love to see more men on booktube. I follow some great guys. But I did look at my subscribers and realise there are far more women in my subscription feed. Because I think it's an immediate disadvantage on booktube to be male. Or to be black. Or to be not a cookie cutter white middle class. And you're all probably going to hate me after making this video, but I don't care. So, hey ho. But yeah. Feel free to comment, because I'd love to know what you guys think, and if you have anything to add to this debate, I think it would be very interesting to see what you guys think on the whole thing. And anyway, I will talk to you later, so love and hugs to you all. Bye.